Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Bharat Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Pathology, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University. Today's topic is stomach and its related diseases, part first. Normal structure of stomach. The stomach is gland with cavity extending from its junction with lower end of the esophagus to its junction with the duodenum. The lesser curvature is inner concavity on the right, while the greater curvature is the outer convexity on the left side of the stomach. The stomach has five anatomical regions. First is cardia, is the esophago gaso esophagogastric junction and lacks the sphincter. Cardia is the esophagogastric junction and lack the sphincter. Second is fundus. Fundus is the portion above the horizontal line drawn across the esophagogastric junction. Third is body. Body is the middle portion of the stomach between the fundus and the pyloric antrum. Now pyloric antrum. Pyloric antrum is the distal third of the stomach. Fifth is pylorus. Pylorus is the junction of distal end of the stomach with the duodenum. It has powerful sphincter muscles. Here is a diagram showing all the structures. Here is esophagus, here is cardia which is connected to the esophagus, here is fundus, it is the greater curvature, it is the lesser curvature, it is the body of stomach, the pyloric antrum, pyloric canal and pyloric sphincter connecting with the duodenum. The mucosal fold in the region of the body and the fundus are loose while the antral mucosa is somewhat flattened. Gastric canal is the relatively fixed portion of the pyloric antrum and the adjoining lesser curvature. It is the site for numerous pathological changes such as gastritis, peptic ulcer and gastric carcinoma. The stomach receives its blood supply from the left gastric artery and the branches of the hepatic and splenic arteries with widespread anastomosis. Numerous gastric lymphatics which communicates freely with each other are also present. The intervention of the stomach is by the vagi and branches of the sympathetic nerves which are connected with ganglia in the muscular and submucosal layer. Histologically, the wall of the stomach consists of four layers. First is serosa, second is muscularis, third is submucosa, and fourth is mucosa. First, serosa is derived from peritoneum, which is deficient in the region of lesser and greater curvatures. Muscularis consists of three layers of smooth muscles fibers, the outer longitudinal, the middle circular, and the inner oblique. Nerve plexus and ganglion cells are present between the longitudinal and circular layer of the muscles. The pyloric sphincter is the thickened circular muscle layer of the gastroduodenal junction. Submucosa is a layer of loose fibroconnective tissues binding the mucosa to the muscularis loosely and contain branches of blood vessels, lymphatics, and nerve plexus and ganglion cells. Mucosa consists of two layers, superficial and deep. Between the two layers is the lamina propria, composed of networks of fibrocollagenic tissues with a few lymphocytes, plasma cells, macrophages, and eosinophils. The mucosa is externally bounded by muscularis mucosa. First is superficial layer, which has cardiac mucosa, is the transition zone between the esophageal squamous mucosa and the oxyntic mucosa of the fundus and the body. Oxyntic mucosa lines both gastric fundus and body, and antral mucosa lines the pyloric antrum. Second, the deep layer. It consists of glands that open into the bottom of the crypts. Depending upon the structures, these glands are of three types: glands of cardia, lined by mucin secreting cells, a few endocrine cells, and occasional parietal and chief cells are also present there. Glands of the body fundus are long, tubular, and tightly packed, which may be coiled or dilated. There are four types of cells present in the gland of the body. Gland of the body of fundic mucosa. First is parietal cells responsible for production of hydrochloric acid of the gastric juice. Second is chief or peptic cells. These cells secrete pepsin of the gastric juice. Mucin secreting neck cells, small in number and secrete mucus. And endocrine cells which secrete serotonin. Now, the third type of glands of the pylorus are much longer than the bodic funding glands. These are simple tubular glands which are often coiled. They are lined mainly by small granular mucin secreting cells resembling neck cells and occasional parietal cells, but no chief cells. Gastric producing G cells are present predominantly in the region of entropyloromucosa, which a with a small number of these cells in the crypts and Bernard's glands of the proximal duodenum. The secretory products of the gastric mucosa are the gastric juices and the intrinsic factor required for absorption of vitamin B12. Gastric juice consists of hydrochloric acid, pepsin, mucin, and electrolytes like sodium, potassium, HCO3, and chlorine. Hydrochloric acid is produced by parietal cells by the interaction of chlorine ion of the arterial blood with water and carbon dioxide in the presence of the enzyme carbonic anhydrase. The degree of gastric activity is correlated with the total parietal cell mass. Physiologically, the gastric secretion are stimulated by the food itself. The control of gastric secretion chiefly occurs in one of the following three ways. First is cephalic phase. It is stimulated by the sight, smell, taste, or even thought of food. Gastric phase, it is triggered by the mechanical and chemical stimuli. Mechanical stimulation comes from stretching of the wall of the stomach, where chemical stimulation is by digested proteins, amino acid, bile salts, and alcohol, which act on gastrin producing G cells. Intestinal phase, it is triggered by the entry of protein rich food in the small intestine. Inflammatory diseases of stomach. Gastritis. Gastritis is commonly employed for any clinical condition with upper abdominal discomfort like indigestion or dyspepsia, in which the specific clinical signs and radiological abnormalities are absent. The condition is of great importance due to its relationship with peptic ulcer and gastric cancers. Broadly speaking, gastritis may be of two types, acute and chronic. Chronic gastritis can further be of various types. Acute gastritis. Acute gastritis is transient acute inflammatory involvement of the stomach, mainly mucosa. Etiopathogenesis. A variety of etiological agents have been implicated in the causation of acute gastritis. These are as follows. First is diet and personal habits, which include highly spiced, highly spiced food, excessive alcohol consumption, malnutrition, and heavy smoking. Second is infections. First is bacterial infections, that is Helicobacter pylori, diphtheria, salmonellosis, pneumonia, staphylococcal, food poisoning. Second is viral infections, that is viral hepatitis, influenza, infectious mononucleosis. Third is like drugs. Intake of drugs like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs or aspirin, cortisone, phenylbutane, indomethacin, preparation of iron, chemotherapeutic agents. Fourth is chemical and physical agents, intake of corrosive chemicals such as caustic soda, phenol, lysol, gastric irritation or freezing. Fifth is severe stress, emotional factors like shock, anger, resentment, etc., extensive burn, trauma, and surgery. In acute gastritis, the mucosal injury by any of the above agent cause acute inflammation by one of the following mechanism, either by reduced blood flow resulting in mucosal hypoperfusion due to ischemia, or increased acid secretion and its accumulation due to the H. pylori infection resulting in damage to the epithelial barrier and decreased production of the bicarbonate buffer. Morphological features: grossly, the gastric mucosa is edematous with abundant mucus and hemorrhagic spots. Microscopically, depending upon the stage, there is a variable amount of edema and infiltration by neutrophils in the lamina propria. In acute hemorrhagic and erosive gastritis, the mucosa is sloughed off and there are hemorrhage on the surface. Chronic gastritis. Chronic gastritis is the commonest histological changes observed in biopsies from the stomach. The microscopic changes is usually poorly correlated to the symptomatology, as the changes is observed in about 35% of endoscopically normal mucosal biopsies. The condition occurs more frequently with advancing age. Average age for symptomatic chronic gastritis being 45 years, which correspond well with the age incident of gastric ulcers. Etiopathogenesis of chronic gastritis is all the causative factors of acute gastritis described above may result in chronic gastritis too. Some additional causes are reflux of duodenal contents into the stomach, infection with H. pylori, associated diseases of the stomach and duodenum like carcinomas, chronic hypochronic anemia, or immunological factors such as autoantibodies to the gastric cell. Classification: based on the type of mucosa affected, that is cardiac, body, pylori, or antral or transitional, a clinicopathologic classification has been proposed. Type A gastritis, autoimmune gastritis, involve mainly the body, fundic mucosa, presence of circulating antibody. Type B gastritis, related to H. pylori infection, or type AB gastritis, also known as mixed gastritis, environmental gastritis, or chronic atopic gastritis. This is the most common type of gastritis in all age group. It is also called environmental gastritis because a number of unidentified environmental factors have been implicated in its etiopathogenesis. Morphological features of chronic gastritis. Grossly, the features of all form of gastritis are inconclusive. The gastric mucosa may be normal, atrophied, or edematous. Histopathologically, criteria for categorization are based on the following: extent of inflammatory changes in the mucosa, activity of inflammation, or presence of and type of metaplasia. Based on above following, simple morphological classification has been proposed. First is chronic superficial gastritis, chronic atrophic gastritis, gastric atrophy, chronic hypertrophic gastritis, or uncommon form of chronic gastritis. Thank you.